There we go. I'm going to finish it out on my own with a good old-fashioned Ask Ricky Live Q&A. You guys shoot me some questions right now. It's Thursday, about 4:30 in my time. What I got going on today is I got a listing this morning for $325 on a beach, a riverfront condo with a beach view with a boat slip for $325, 2-bedroom. Then I showed some property at 11. We looked at about 5 condos and a house. They're definitely going to buy. They're a referral from another client that bought several properties from me. I'm negotiating a couple things. One deal is not looking that great. I got a couple under contract yesterday. I'm going to call a seller when I get off this live feed with you guys and try to work out a deal for $335. Right now, I got $4 million set up to close in January, and I'm working on some more. I'm hoping to get to $6 million closed in January. I had a couple deals fall through on me lately, which wasn't a big deal because you just got to keep moving forward. But ask me a question, guys. I'm sitting here ready to answer anything you got. I'm going to try to do $6 million in January. That's the goal for that. I'm going to try to do 1.5 in commissions next year. That's my goal for next year. 150 transactions, 1.5 in GCI. That's what we're going for. I got an awesome Christmas present from my assistant today. Some kite surfing gloves for when it's cold, and also a little mat I can get my wetsuit off. She also got me a Starbucks card, so I was excited about that. For you guys just joining on the live feed, we had Tony Rutger on. He has some technical difficulties with his internet, so we had to cut him loose for the time being, but we'll have him back on the show. I'm just doing a good old-fashioned Ask Ricky Live, so I'll be here with you for another 30 minutes, just talking it up with you, seeing what you got for me. I'm at the studio in my house. Question from Jeffrey Thompson here. Do you ever circle call around in I/O, say IO in 48 hours in hot areas? What's an AO? Type in what's an AO and I'll answer the question. Not familiar with that. What's up, Lisa? I see you there. Mark Parks is watching. Sally Pettigay. Hope you guys are doing all right. What else is going on? We got Christmas. I hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas. Right now everybody's kind of getting in the real Christmas spirit. I'm all about crushing it through the holidays and the slow season. But to get this close to Christmas, phone calls, you can keep making them. I'm kind of either way on this. As long as you stay busy, I'll do personal emails and say, hey, how you doing? Merry Christmas. Stuff I don't have time to do, anytime else, or I'll keep making calls. But either way it goes, you just got to keep moving. Stay busy. Don't slow down. Do not get caught up in the holiday, slow time. Keep moving forward. Really, really just stay busy. Okay, Jeffrey says active with offer. First I heard that term. Do you ever circle call around active with offer in hot areas? Yeah, why not? I call around pending sales all the time. I call around pending sales, closed sales, new listings, stuff that withdrew. I even call about stuff that's not even in their area. I'll call around that something 2 subdivisions away sold, or 2 or 3 complexes away sold. Or I'll just, I might even say, hey, I've sold 5 properties in the last week. Is there something I can do for you? Doesn't matter. Quit worrying about the reason that you're calling and just make the calls, right? Tweak the reason. If you call with a reason, like an active with offer or pending as we call it, if you're calling around that and then you're not getting a great response, change it up. So, you have to adapt. You might adapt halfway through your calling session. It needs to roll off your tongue really well. You need to feel good about it and confident. It needs to really come at them like you own it. And if you're not confident with it, then you're not getting the results you want because they feel you nervous. They feel that you're not confident, so they're not giving you, anything back. or the correct response you would like, then it's time to change it up. But don't give up on the first one. Don't give up on the first one. Go 10 or 20 calls. All right. Man, internet connections are something else. All right, Jeffrey, when a property in our MLS goes under contract, it's marked AO, then goes pending, then closed. Cool. Every state has their own thing, They've got their own thing going on, their own little abbreviations, their own little definitions for everything, their own laws, their own ways of doing stuff. Like in Alabama, it's a buyer beware state. The seller does not have to disclose anything to the buyer whatsoever. And, the seller pays the title insurance, so it's different everywhere. I love buyer beware. I love buyer beware state. As a buyer's agent, you just have to get to work and help the buyer research and do the due diligence and make sure everything's cool. That's just all there is to it. But seller disclosure states, those are kind of different because it's a thing where there's some legalities there. If the seller doesn't disclose something, there could be a possible lawsuit. So I like Alabama better for that. It's if the seller's going to lie, they're going to lie. Let's let the buyer do the due diligence. Let's let them make sure they feel good about it. So give me some questions, guys. Just dropped the latest episode of the Daily Grind. The end of the show goes into my workout routine at the gym. There's a little kite surfing in there. It was a really good episode. Talked a little bit about crushing in the off season in the beginning on a coaching call. That was exciting. I don't know if you guys heard in the beginning, we're on iTunes now. I'm putting all the Zero to Diamond podcasts on iTunes. So we're moving on up in the world, to say the least. But I hate that Tony couldn't get his internet right. Tony, he has a lot of energy. He's doing really well. Like I said, he's at that midpoint in his career where he's on his way. He hadn't figured it all out, but he's putting the pieces in place to really kill it and really take his business to the next level. I'm just going to be so interested to see what his 2018, 19, 20 look like. Super excited to watch him go, man. He's doing very well, and I'm just proud of him. So he's part of the Zero to Diamond coaching program, and he's really taken everything really to the far extreme. Everything that I teach in there, he's really taken it to another level. So, he's just one of these guys, like if you show people, like if you show 100 people exactly what you do, one or two of them is going to do it. And out of those one or two people, they can't even keep up the stamina to really crush it, because guys, business is unlimited. Like, it goes on forever and ever and ever. There's no way to do it all, right? Think about it. If someone could do all the business, wouldn't somebody already be doing it all? And there would be no room for me and you in this real estate business. Somebody else would already have monopolized the entire industry, right? It's not doable. So, I mean, it's because of the fact that business is unlimited. You cannot do it all. So as soon as you realize that, and then you figure out how to actually create business out of thin air, and you put a system in place to build long-term relationships, then you're golden. Then your job is just to create relationships and keep your cup full. It's hard for me to make phone calls now. Not because I don't want to, because I don't have a lot of time to, because I'm so busy selling from all the phone calls I made years ago. And when I made those phone calls, I made so many deals at the time of making the calls, right? But I was creating even more business for the future, and that's what I'm experiencing now. And that's why I decided to write books and do blogs and start a coaching business and do this live Q&A for you guys. Because I wanted to spread the idea of making the calls to create relationships, to do business today, and build an even bigger business for the future. It gives you security. It gives you direction. It gives you a sense of, relief that you're actually building a real business instead of just trying to do some high pressure technique to get an expired to sign the line or a Frisbo to sign the line, or buying leads and spending all your money on that to get a bunch of leads that run you around town and waste all your time. You're building a real business with what I teach. It's real. You can actually touch it and feel it, see it, call the people, your clients turn into your family. You know how many Christmas cards I got from clients this week? I don't even know how many. I spent a half a day opening up Christmas cards from clients, right? Because the way that I built my business is to create a relationship that is just like family. They call me when they come down, we go have dinner. They send me Christmas cards. I send them Christmas cards. We're a family. That's all there is to it. We stay in touch. We know what's going on with each other. It's a long-term thing. That's what it's all about. There's too many coaches that have never even sold real estate out there trying to tell you how to high pressure sell an expired or for sale by owner. You can't really start a relationship from an expired or for sale by owner because they're getting pressure from other agents at the same time. They're not in the mindset to start a relationship forever, right? They're kind of got their guard up against real estate agents. Yeah, you can bust in there. You can slick talk them. You can get the listing. Sure. But at the end of the day, while you're doing that, I'm going to call 100 property owners. I'm going to get 5 or 10 of them to commit to me long term. I'm going to do a deal with 1 or 2 of them in the next year. I'm going to do the same thing tomorrow and the next day and the next and the next day. And after a month or two, I'm going to be way ahead of where you're at. And I am way ahead. All the agents that do expireds and for sale by owners in my market, I crush them. And it's not, I don't crush them because of all the years I've done circle prospecting. I crushed them the year I started circle prospecting. Circle prospecting is a snowball. Start small, you call, you build this database full of long-term opportunities and a pipeline full of deals you can close today. Bottom line. So let me know a question, guys, because I'm just babbling at this point. I'm saying some pretty good stuff, but you guys have heard all this from me before. You guys know what I'm about. There's no secret pill here. I'm going to grind harder than you. That's the bottom line. I'm going to grind harder than you. And, if I get out there and I see somebody is going harder than me, I'm going to take it up a notch because I'm too competitive. I'm not going to let you outwork me, right? Period. Now, there might be an agent out there that grabs a bunch of pre-construction and closes more than me one year, right? Because they got a bunch of pre-construction and they do this massive deal all of a sudden. But, I've got you long-term because I'm out hustling you. You might do this one big deal here, one big deal there, but I'm going to beat you on the hustling aspect of this. What up, Albert? I got a question. He says, Ricky, I have identified certain areas in my market with year-over-year increases between 11 and 15%. Of course, this is huge. Do you think that's a good reason to call and let sellers know to see if there's anything we can do for them? I think it is, Albert. It's just like I told Jeffrey. Jeffrey wanted to ask me if I call around pending sales or deals that are active with offer. So really, to tell you the truth, Albert, it's the same exact question. You're asking me if it's okay to call with an idea, with a reason to call them. It's the same question, and the answer is any reason is a good reason. Don't look too much into the reason why you're making the calls, guys. Okay? Don't look too far into the reason. Just make the calls. You know how you figure out if a reason is a good enough reason to call? You make the calls and you see how people react to the reason, right? And if they don't react the way that you think they should, if you're not getting the results you want, switch it up. Maybe it's the same reason, but you just switch up the words a little bit. Maybe it's the same reason, you just switch up the words a little bit, right? You know, or you come up with a whole new reason altogether. The only way to know is just to test it. See, one time when I was making calls, I was calling up and I was saying, hey, I sold 100 properties last year and didn't know if there was something I could do to help you. And I kept using that reason over and over again for like 20 calls. And it wasn't getting where I wanted it to be. Like nobody was really responding. Everybody was just kind of. And so I switched it because I had a listing in the building. It was a good listing. And so I switched it from, I sold 100 properties last year, what can I do for you? To, hey, I've got a 4-bedroom listed in your building. You know, it's the cheapest one on the market. I didn't know if there's anything I could do to help you. And then I started getting the results I wanted, right? So, number one, people don't care how much you sold or that you're number one or any of that stuff, right? That's what I've learned by actually being number one and selling a bunch of stuff and then trying to use that against my marketing and so on and so forth. I've realized that people don't care about that. People don't care that you're number one. It actually discredits you to a certain extent because everybody's saying they're number one. Everybody's number one. Everybody's selling millions of stuff. And so you just sound like everybody else, you know, when you start doing that. So that's one thing I've really learned, you know, from actually being on top is that nobody cares that you're on top. They want to know what's going on with the market. They want to know what you can do to help them. They don't care what you've done. So, and Jeffrey says, not yet closed. Yeah, I understand, Jeffrey. You're saying like that there's a contract on it. We call it pending, but there's a contract on it and it hasn't closed yet. Sure. It doesn't matter what the reason is. Use the reason. Call people about it. Say, hey, there's a house in your neighborhood that's active with offer, or whatever your language is. I didn't know if there's something I could do for you. They're probably going to say, oh, which house is it? How much? Da, 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 da. Or they might say, oh, no, there's nothing you can do for me right now. Then you just go into my phone script, all the stuff. Create the relationship. Be low pressure. Let me get some more questions, guys. Got another 15 minutes here. Albert says right on. Yeah. So I love it when I'm like trying to come up with reasons to make calls because there's millions of them. And so what I've actually ended up doing is not worried about trying to figure out a reason. I just look and see what the last sale was most of the time. Most of the time when I make calls now, it's because I need something out of that subdivision. Like I have a really good listing, I'm looking for a buyer, or I have a buyer and I need a good listing. You know, if I'm going to make just random calls, I'm probably going to call past clients because I have thousands of them. So if I'm actually going to make cold calls, circle prospecting at this point in my career, it's going to be for a reason because I don't have a lot of time. So it has to be for a reason. So most of the time when I do that, I'm going to look at the market. If something's pending, if something's just closed, if something's listed, I'm just going to use one of those stats and then just use that in my phone script and start creating relationships. I'm actually going for the relationship. I'm not even going for the deal. Like if I have a buyer, I'm not going to tell them I have a buyer. I'm just going to say, is there anything I can do for you? If they say, yeah, sure, we're thinking of selling, I'm going to say, oh, great. When can I come see it? I want to price it and all that. I'm never going to tell them I have a buyer. I'm going to keep that information under my sleeve. I'm not going to give it away right then. Okay. Because here's one thing, that buyer may go away. That buyer may not even be hanging around by the time I find the listing. You know, buyers are liars. They go elsewhere. They tell you one thing and do another. So, but another thing is I want to keep that information, even though the buyer is real, even if they're real and they're really going to buy that property. I'm not going to tell that owner yet because I'm still filling out the situation to see if they even really want to sell. You know, I mean, if they don't even make it, if they don't even let you come see the property, and then if they don't establish a price with you, and then from there, if they don't sign a listing with you, they don't really want to sell. And if they don't really want to sell, there's no need in trying to tell them, oh, you got a buyer, because then you sound like every other realtor. And you don't want to tell your buyer you have a seller until you have a listing agreement signed, right? So you want to take every situation to the farthest extreme. So if the seller won't sign a listing, they say, I'll sell for this price, but I won't sign a listing. I'm not going to list it. You know, and you've just taken that as far as it'll go, and you have a buyer that really wants it, then yeah, try to make that happen. But hold it till the last second, right? Try to get the listing because the buyer may go away and then you have a listing. So I'm not going to tell people I have buyers. If you know, if I'm calling a place because I have a really good listing, I'm looking for a buyer, I might use that as my reason. Hey, you know, I don't want to take up too much of your time today, but I've got this really good listing. It's whatever. I didn't know if there's anything I could do for you. See, I still don't say, do you want to buy it, or would you be interested in it? I just tell them about it, and then I say, hey, I didn't know if there's something I could do for you. See what I'm saying? I'm never asking if they want to buy or sell because I'm going for the relationship. You know, I'm trying to build a massive database, and this is how you do it. I want to build the database full of relationships, lifelong, meaningful relationships. You got to go deep with your database. You don't want just 10,000 internet leads in your database and never call you back. You want 1,000 property owners who you've talked to in your database. That's where you're going to win. Of course, that's the start. You want 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. I have 13,000. Guys, please ask me some questions. I'm here for another 10 minutes, and I really want to answer any questions you guys have. Jeffrey here, he says, on a call, if they say, no, not moving, how long do you wait to call them again, or is it a one and done? It's a one and done, my friend. I've never called the same person twice in my whole career, ever. You have to keep moving forward, because if you take the time to put that person in your organizational deal to call them back in 3 weeks, you spent time to put them in there, and then you spent time to call them back, and then you got to think about what you're going to do with them after that, right? And so on and so on and so on. Each of those steps is taking time away from new calls. So the time you took to put him in there, that's one call that you could have made to somebody else that could have said yes. Okay, then the call you make to that person, that's another call. That's 2 calls. Then if you call them back again, that's 3 calls. You know, out of those 3 calls, you could have got something really big, right? Maybe not today, but you might have started a relationship that turns into something 2 years from now that turns into something really big, but you missed out on it because you're too busy trying to convert this guy. Guys, let me just go on record and say one of my famous quotes, and that is that lead conversion is a myth. Right? Lead conversion is great. But see, the way that people perceive lead conversion is what this guy's saying. Call that person over and over again and try to get them to convert into something. Wrong. Conversion is creating a relationship with them the first time you talk to them, right? And then maintaining that relationship forever. That's the conversion. On the flip side, instead of spending all that time, all these trainers and gurus are telling you to convert, you need to be lead generating, new people you never talked to before. That's where you win. See, you're thinking call that same person over again, and so you're just going to beat the same dead horse over and over and over again, even though they might have said yes. Maybe they said yes, but look at the time you spent on it. Even if that person says yes, you still wasted 3 or 4 calls on this person when you could have had 3 or 4 new people, interacting with you. So even if they're going to say yes, I'm still not interested because of the time factor. I got to keep moving forward. I need more. And if I can't connect with them the first time I talk to them, it's really hard for me to go back. I've never went back, right? So you have to establish a relationship. You have to put them in your follow-up system forever at that point on the first call. That's what my phone scripts are designed to do. They get you the relationship, and you're able to follow up forever and maintain that relationship until they get ready to do something. Then they call you back. That's how my system works. You build this business, you build, and then all of a sudden people are calling you every week wanting to do deals. Here we go. Michael Sanders. All right, he says, Ricky, I was able to purchase the domain name of a brand new 283 home community nearby. I've heard of other realtors who were able to get a ton of new construction buyers by owning that domain. Do you know the best way to go about using this to my advantage? I.e., should I start a website using that domain, or should I use it on Facebook somehow? I'm not sure the best way to go about it. What is up, Michael Sanders, man? How are you doing? Karen, I see your question. I will get to it right after Michael's. Okay, Michael, here we go. You ready? I think the days of domains being a thing are over. Because when you do a Facebook ad, the Facebook ad for them to go to your funnel page or landing page, it just says learn more or click here or whatever the button says on Facebook. They don't ever even see the domain name. Then they click on the learn more, and then they just look at the content on that landing page. They don't even look at the domain. So that's one thing. Let's see. I've heard of other realtors. Okay. The new construction buyers. Okay. If you want a bunch of new construction buyers, this is what you do. You create a Facebook ad that says new construction in whatever area you're at. You do a nice picture of that area. And then you say, click below, or give some information. Create an ad at the top, though. It's going to say new construction in wherever. And then run that Facebook ad in your area. Have the link go to a landing page of some sort where they can put their information in and get more information about whatever subdivision that you're trying to sell, right? That's how you get new construction buyers. Not by owning a domain that's fancy. I think those days are over because the Facebook ads, you don't even see the domain. So I'm not trying to rain on your parade here. I want you to know that. I'm proud of you for trying to do something, right? This business is all about just trying to do something. I want you to continue trying to do something, right? But I do want you to understand what I'm saying here. You don't need the domain. You can just create a Facebook ad and then link it to a landing page on your website for them to put their information in to get more information on that community. And then if you want to get even fancier on this SEO, you can do the SEO on that landing page. You have information and content about the subdivision or community that you're trying to sell, and with the information at the bottom, they can put in their contact information to get more info, and you can actually work on the SEO of that landing page, to pop up when people search brand new 283 home community or whatever domain you're trying to do. You can up the SEO on that landing page. It doesn't have to be a fancy domain. I think those days are over, but use that domain as your landing page, if you want to. I just wouldn't buy into it so much, right? Ask me questions, guys. Ask me questions. Not here very much longer. Karen Wright, how are you doing? Karen writes, in the Zero to Diamond coaching program, killing it. She says, if they want to sell in the spring, do you put on a calendar to call back? Absolutely. If they said they wanted to sell in the spring, then I'm going to put it in my folder, or I'm going to put it in my notebook to call them back after the first of the year. I'm going to call them back after the first of the year, and I'm going to say, hey, Mr. Johnson, you know, Ricky Carruth, Remix of Orange Beach, talked to you before Christmas. You said you wanted to sell in the spring. I was just calling to see how your Christmas went. See how your Happy New Year went, right? And then just get into a conversation about non-real estate stuff, and then it'll end up coming back to real estate in the end. You know, y'all talk about how all the nieces and nephews are running around and jumping on you like a jungle gym, and, you know, they had turkey and the ham and got some good presents and, you know, flew halfway across the country to see family. And they're going to say, you know, on that property, you know, let them talk about it. At the end, they're going to say, yeah, about that property, you know, yeah, we're still interested in selling in the spring. You know, why don't you give us a call back, you know, mid-February or something like that. Then you write it on your book to call them back mid-February. See what I'm saying, guys? I see Colin is here. What's up, Colin? Give me a good question to end the day. Somebody give me a last question, something really good, something really a tough question. I want a really hard question to answer. It's been getting darker for a while now. I don't like it. I'd rather it stay light till, you know, 6:30, like it was doing before daylight savings time. I need one last banger question. Somebody give me like the toughest question they can possibly think of. I really want to answer a tough one here to finish out this show. It's been a good show. I made up for Tony Rucker was on. He had technical difficulties. So, you know, I'm going to have him back on once he gets his internet thing figured out. So we just switched it over to a good old-fashioned Ask Ricky Live, and I've enjoyed it. I'm gonna take the episode and I'm gonna chop it up, and I'm gonna take I hate to, because there was actually some good stuff, but I'm gonna take the Tony part out and just put the last part in, the Q&A part, and I will repost the video so you guys can, you know, see this again, because there was a lot of good stuff in the beginning. Okay, let's see. Got a barrage of questions here. I like it. So Michael Sanders says, someone who says I need to think about it after a listing presentation. Okay, yeah, give us some thought. Give us some thought, man. Let me know if you need something. You know, it depends on the situation. You know, like, try to advise them, you know, say, you know, like, you know, I wouldn't wait too long because now's a really good time, but don't pressure them. It just depends on the situation, you know. Certain situations you might want to try to push. Certain situation you might want to just let them go. So here's the thing, Michael. Never try to close. Always try to maintain the relationship. So when they say something like, I need to think about it, say, yeah, give us some thought. I'll be right here. I'll give you a call tomorrow. You know, give us some thought, sleep on it. I'll call you in the morning. That would be my general answer to somebody who says they want to think about it. Give us some thought, sleep on it. I'll call you tomorrow and see what you think. That's how I would do it. Never going to try to pressure them. And really, guys, listen, you don't care if they list. You don't care if they do the deal. If you don't care that they do the deal, you're going to get more deals, because people can tell that you're not desperate and they're going to want to do business with you. Do you understand? If you're always seeming like you're just trying to do the deal, nobody's going to do a deal with you, because they know that you just want the deal. Even if you don't just want the deal, maybe you're sincere about your, you know, intentions. They still feel like all you want is the deal, because that's the way you're acting. Even though you may feel differently, you're still acting a certain way, and they're going to not do the deal with you. Let them think about it. That's fine. Hey, it's one of the biggest financial decisions of their life. So yes, please think about it. Go ahead and sleep on it. I'll call you in the morning, see what you think about it tomorrow. We'll go from there. Have a good night. Karen says, today is the shortest day of the year, so the sun is coming back as up tomorrow. Thank you, God. Thank you. Carol Lopez says, how do you fundamentally change your mindset? Wow, this is a loaded question, isn't it? You always bring the pain, I'll tell you what, on these questions. How do you fundamentally change your mindset? I think at the end of the day, you have to figure out what motivates you. Like, do you want to be successful or do you not want to be successful? It really boils down to that. If you really want to be successful as much as you say you want to be successful, then you're going to take the actions that you need to become the success that you want to become. If you want to be successful, but you're not taking the actions behind being the success that you want to be, then you don't really want to be as successful as you think you want to be. So it all boils down to, do you really want what you say? Because here's the thing, guys. Most of you, unless you're just brand new, you know what it takes to survive. And by the way, guys, I just wrote a blog. It's Mindset of a Seven-Figure Real Estate Agent. I'm going to post it on Zero to Diamond after this show. You really, really need to watch this. I mean, you need to read this blog. This is probably the best blog I've written. I've wrote quite a few good ones. This one's really good. It really just tells you like it is. And the way it is this. If you're making phone calls and you're keeping your cup full and you're not worried about rejection and fear and all that negative stuff, then you're going to be successful. If you just make excuses not to make calls, like I'm working on my business cards, my emails, my Facebook ads, my CRM, whatever, then you're not going to be successful. People fill up their cup with the wrong stuff. You got to fill your cup up with what matters, and that is just staying in front of people, talking to people, seeing what you can do to help them, and always taking on new stuff all the time. If let's say people, let's say an agent really wants to be successful, and let's put it like this. Agents come to me all the time saying, I want to be successful. I'll do anything it takes. And I'm like, okay, here you go. Go here, find these phone numbers, and call this many people right now. And they're like, oh, no. Not going to do that. And to me, it's like, okay, you're not going to make it ever. You're just not going to make it. Even if you change your mindset and you start to make some calls, you're not going to make them at the volume that it really takes to be on my level. Even if you start making the calls, you're just never, you're not a hustler, right? You're just not a hustler if you're not going to do that. If you have somebody sitting in front of you who is where you want to be as far as success goes, like, guys, okay, everybody knows I made $1 million and stuff this year. Okay, who cares? But because there's people that are making 10 million, 20 million, 100 million, there's people making $1 billion. I mean, $1 million is middle class to a lot of people, right? Not me. $1 million is rich to me. But the thing about it is if you aren't making $1 million and your goal is to make $1 million, and you're looking at somebody square in the face like you guys are looking at me right now that made $1 million, and they tell you exactly what to do and you don't do it or even give it a chance, then you really need to ask yourself, what am I doing with my life? It's really as simple as that. You have to try everything, right? And if you have somebody like me who wants to just give back to the industry, give, and tell you everything you need to do to crush it, and you're not doing it, then you really have to ask yourself, what am I doing with my life? So yeah, at the end of the day, It's all about, do you really want to be successful? And you can't make any excuses. You either do it or you don't. Winners just make it happen. And they adapt really well, right? You have to adapt, which includes a lot of things. Adapting is learning as you go. Adapting is understanding what's good and bad. Adapting is figuring out what works and what doesn't work. You know, and part of adapting is learning that optimism is where it's at. Anything negative is a waste of time. Fear of making calls, waste of time. Fear of rejection, fear of people hanging up on you, waste of time. Fear of losing a deal, waste of time. Worrying if a deal is going to close, waste of time. Worrying if you've done everything you need to do perfectly, waste of time. Worry, fear, procrastination, rejection, worrying about all those things is a complete waste of time, and it's holding you back big time. So you have to learn to adapt and understand that winners make it happen, and they adapt really well. And they believe in themselves. I've always believed 100% that I was going to be where I'm at right now. And that's why I'm where I'm at right now, because I believed it 100%. So when you believe something 100%, you automatically start taking the actions you need to make that success happen. But if you only believe, say, 99.9%, you're dead, because that 0.01% that you don't believe is what's going to take you down. That's what's going to hold you back from actually taking, because you need 100. You need to believe 100 that you can actually do it. So you got to believe, you got to adapt, and you got to just make it happen. No excuses. I mean, guys, I lost everything in the crash. I went back to roofing houses and working on an oil rig. I could have just kept doing that and just said, oh, I lost everything. I tried real estate. It didn't work out. And now I'm a roofer forever. Now I'm just working on an oil rig forever. But I didn't. I said, I'm going to figure this out. No excuses. I don't care about rejection. I don't care about failure. I don't care about losing. I'm going to win long term. And so I never had a doubt. Even when the market crashed, I knew that I was going to come back. I knew it. I just had to figure out how next time I came back, how I was going to stay back. That's what I was scared of. I was scared of losing it all again. I'm not scared of that anymore. I mean, it's in the back of my mind, way back there, but I'm not scared of it anymore, like I was, when it actually happened. That was crucial. That was a tough situation. So anyway, guys, I mean, thanks for listening to me babble on here. I wish Tony could have done the entire show. He's a real inspiration to me. He's really making it happen over there. If you guys haven't picked up my second book, List to Last, it's on Amazon. You can go to ZeroToDiamond.com and get it. It'll set you up to be ready for a market crash, and it'll have you to where you won't be worried about a market crashing. I don't think the market's going to crash. We just got the tax reform passed. I think we're good. I think in January, stocks may go down because a lot of sell-off because they went up so high. But yeah, there I am. Anyway, I think the stocks will go down a little bit, but I think people will maybe take money out of stocks and put them in real estate. So, I just think that the American economy, I think we're going to be good for a long time with this tax reform thing. Big corporations are going to need money back from overseas. There's going to be a lot of money in circulation. It's going to be good for everybody. So, I'm not, speaking my mind on politics, and, I really have no affiliation either way on that. But I am excited about the direction that the real estate market's going to go in here. I don't see a market crash coming, but the book List to Last is it's golden. I mean, it's a blueprint. It'll have you set up long term. You're going to get there. Carol says, how do you get to 100% in yourself? What do you recommend? This is she's talking about believing. Like, how do you make yourself believe 100% that you can do what you're trying to do, that you can accomplish your goals and everything? It's like this. Now that you know this, now that you've heard me say this, now you just do it. It's not really a thing of like, here's the magic formula, or this is what I do. I meditate on it, and I just write it down and stare at it and stuff like that. No, there's something inside of me that I just believe 100%, period. And that's just the way you have to be. So if you don't believe 100%, but then you hear that that's what you have to do to get where you want to be, then you just do it. That's what winners do. They hear something that makes sense, and then they do it. You see what I'm saying? It's called adapting. This is what winners do. They adapt to situations. They adapt to their environment. They adapt to business. They adapt to their customers. They adapt to every situation there is. They adapt. And so when you hear me say that you have to believe 100%, when you believe 100%, it automatically makes you take the actions needed to get where you want to be. Then it should be a light bulb going off. Bing! And then you say to yourself, okay, I get it. I just need to believe, and then it's going to happen. And that's the bottom line. You just have to do it. I know that's like the simple answer, and it sounds elementary. Oh, just do it. But it's the truth. And that's all I can really give you guys is the truth. Real estate is do or die. Real estate is do or die. So if somebody's not out there on the streets living it every day and coming back and telling you guys exactly what you need to hear, then I'm not doing you guys any justice. So if you guys haven't subscribed to my YouTube, please do that. If you haven't ordered my second book, List That Last, please do that. And I'm fixing to post my latest blog, The Mindset of a Seven-Figure Real Estate Agent. It's not that long, but it is very powerful. I want to know what you guys think about it. Please let me know in the comments under the post. Okay, guys, y'all talked me into it. I'm going to do one more question. Somebody give me a zinger of a question, something just out of this world, crazy, hard, tough question. I want to hear something tough. I got time for one more, and then I'm going to get on out of here. I've been here longer than I'm supposed to be, and I got to call a lady about a contract. And but I did want to go a little longer because, you know, we had the hiccup with Tony. But definitely give me another question, guys, because I'm ready to answer one more. And then I'm going to hit the road. All coaching members also, I'm going to announce our next coaching call, our coaching live session next week. It'll be in January, mid-January. I'll announce that next week, and then we'll figure out what the subject's going to be. It's kind of based on what you guys want. I also have uploaded several new videos in the coaching members on the website for coaching members. There was 2 role-playing sessions, one one-on-one with an agent, one with the group. I did the Facebook custom audience, how to build a custom audience on Facebook. I did the RedX tutorial where I screen shared that. A little frozen. All right. Pettigay says thank you. Carol says thank you. Give me one big old question, guys. I want to hear something crazy. One more question for the road. Here we go. Pettigay bringing the heat. Pettigay bringing the heat. She says, do you change anything at the beginning of the new year similar to how you change things during the holidays. So this is what I do after the first of the year. Like basically, I've created a list. I've created a list of everybody who said they wanted to list or buy something next year. Like, you know, people that said they wanted to sell in the spring, people that said they wanted to buy in the spring, you know, people that were kind of on the fence that I felt like maybe I could sway them to do something after the first of the year. So I've got a list. I have a list of maybe 50, 60, 70 people, right? These are all people who either said they wanted to do something after the first, or I felt like wanted to, just wasn't telling me straight up, right? After the first of the year is a great time to just follow up with people and say, hey, how was your holidays? Just checking in. Is there anything I can do for you, right? And so I have this list of people that I've developed over the last couple months. You know, people I've talked to and said they might want to do this or that after the first. So right after the first, that's when I'm going to just pound them with the phone. I'm going to call every single one of them and say, hey, how are you doing? How was your holidays? Is there anything I can do for you? I know we spoke earlier a couple months ago. You said you might want to do something in the spring or whatever. You know, I didn't know if there's, you know, if you still are interested in that. If so, I'm going to put you down for the spring, or if you're ready to get started now, let's go, whatever. And I'm just going to pound that list. And follow up with them. I'm using the new year. I'm using Christmas. I'm using the holidays as a reason to call them and check in, see how their Christmas was, see how the holidays was, see if they had a good new year. And that gives me my foot in the door to let them know that I had a great holiday as well. And that, you know, I didn't want to take up too much of their time today, but I'm just going to follow up and see if there's anything you can do for them. So that's what I'm going to do. After the first of the year. First of the year gets me really, really excited because it gives me a reason. It gives me like a fresh energy. It gives me like new blood. I'm able to like, you know, call. I don't know. It's just something about the new year that gets me so excited. And I can use that excitement in myself and use the excitement of the new year to just really follow up with people and just get the year going. I've got 4 million under contract for January. I'm trying to get to 6 million for January. I think I might get there. And then February, of course, I want to do over 3 million, you know, 3 to 4, right? And so that'll give me a good 10 million in the first 2 months. So my goal is, let's see, what is my goal? 60 million. I want to do 150 transactions, 60 million. That should be 1.5 million in commissions. So Patagay says, got it. The road plan. Thank you. All right, I got time for one more, Michael. He says, anyone in your database who never responds to either an email, text, or voicemail, how long do you wait until you cut them loose? You never cut them loose, but you never call them, right? If you have their email, you follow up with your reports. You keep them in there forever. You never cut them loose. You let them get your information forever. You know, if they're part of your Facebook thing, you let them get that forever. You let them get all the stuff that doesn't really cost you anything and really doesn't like afford you any time. Anything that doesn't cost you time or money, let them stay in there forever, right? But don't call them, don't text them, don't email them. Don't do that. Just let them go and let them come to you if they're ever going to come back. If they're not going to come back, who cares? Because you're going to be steadily trying to get new business all the time and keeping your cup full of new prospects, new relationships. Do you understand? Cutting them loose in terms of not calling them anymore immediately. Cutting them loose on getting email market reports and Facebook posts and, you know, stuff that's in bulk, never. You never cut them off from that ever, because you never know. They might come back 5 years from now. They're not interested right now. That's why they didn't call you. But they got your information for the last 5 years, and now they're ready to do something, and they like your style. They like the fact that you hung in there with them that long, right? So cut them loose from the phone, not from the long-term bulk message, okay? Guys, I've enjoyed it. I'm going to get out of here. I'll stay a little later because, I wanted, Tony's thing messed up. So I wanted to give some content and give you guys some value today. Finish this week strong. Christmas is Monday. Everything's going very well. I love next week because it's a little slow. It gives me time to really dig deep with my plans and like strategizing and everything else. So just stay busy, guys. Stay busy contacting people, emailing people, calling people, texting people, everything. Okay? We'll talk to you guys real soon. Much love. If there's something I could do to help you, please let me know. And, also, I guess as a last minute thing here, I'm doing a free webinar tomorrow. If you guys didn't catch the webinar on how to circle prospects, I'm doing that again tomorrow at 2 o'clock. So just message me if you would like me to give you the registration form on that. We'll see you guys. Be good. Take care. And we'll talk to you soon.